Hello, this is Cloud321, and this is Object-Oriented Programming in PHP, intro number 2. In this tutorial, I'll be going over just a few more basics which are vital to utilizing object-oriented programming to its fullest. So I will be working with an abstract class, and I might put it in an interface. I'm totally doing this on a wing, but I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and well, let's just go ahead from here. So let's just say we want to have a bank, okay? So I'm going to say I want a bank class. Okay, well that's nice. Let's just say I want to have a public function for the construct, which the construct again is called when the class object is created. So I'm just going to say starting the bank. I'm going to say that the bank needs a name. And I need a way to save that name, so I'm going to say private name equals nothing for now. And I'll say this name equals the name variable that came from the parameter. Okay, so we need, well, a bank has a couple things. A bank has a amount of money. So I'm going to say public function I have this much money. For now I'm just going to say return 0, but I will go back to this and go through from there on what needs to happen to calculate how much money is in this bank. But let's say I also want to have people in this bank, or accounts. So let's just say I'm going to say I have a class called an account. So I'm going to say public function construct, and I'm also going to have a private static ID, or instance ID. So what I will do here is I will set this to 0, and every time an account is created I'm going to make some sort of ID with it, okay? So I'm going to say account, or I could actually just say self and say instance ID plus equals 1, and I'm going to say that this account's ID is private ID equals -1, and I'm going to say this ID equals it's right here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put this before I increase the number, just so it makes a bit more sense, because this means that prepare the next ID for the next account. Okay, so I have an amount of money. So right now the money is 0, but I am also going to have a function called deposit. So I'm going to say that I am going to deposit this amount of money. Okay, so monies, it's great, but I want to say this money, equals this. So now I am able to increase the amount of money. So now let's just say I want to withdraw. So I say withdraw this amount of money, return. Well, actually, I'm going to first see, do I have enough money to withdraw? So let's just say here, if money is less than or equal to this current account's money, then I can currently withdraw. So return return true. But before I actually return the statement, or method, I need to actually remove that money from the amount that I have. So I'll say this money minus equals money. And if I get to this point, I'll say return false as my base case. A base case is something that should happen every time in the case that everything else fails. So now I have my deposit and my withdrawal, but I also want a means to get how much money this account has. So public function get money. Okay, that's great. Return this money. So now I have an account class. So what if I wanted to have some sort of means to say this account is special? Well, I can actually extend this class and retain all of its functionality. So I could say class special account extends account. And I don't actually have to have anything in there, it just needs to be a special account. Now I'll show you what I can do with that later. So I will save, and if I run anything, it won't do anything yet. But let me go ahead and kind of show you what I can do with this. Well, in my bank, I probably want to have a means to also add accounts to this bank. So I will say, I don't remember if this is implemented yet or not, but I could say, I guess it's okay. I can sort of define what it's supposed to be, but this only works in the latest versions of PHP. Okay, so now that we have an added account function, well, let's actually make a way to add it. So I will say public, no, this will be a private variable. Private accounts equals an array, because I want to store it in an array. So now I can say, well, if the account is an instance of an account, well then I can now go ahead and add it to this accounts, and like an array, just adding on top, I will say equals and the account. But also, I will do the following. I will make a second array, which will be a pointer as well, to special accounts. So now that I have that, I can go ahead and say, let's see here, the name here is called special account, so I could just delete that A and call special account. So I can now say special. So let's say that we want to see if a certain account is a preferred customer. Let's say public function preferred account. So let's see here. I want to see, actually I'm just going to say return in array, and I'm going to say account and the this special. So what this function should do is return if this account is also in the special thing. It's just saying, are you a preferred customer? So I have an add account and I have all that cool stuff. I might as well go through and find out how much money I got. So I'm going to just go and create a variable called sum. I'm going to start with 0. And I can go through and say for each, this accounts as account. And I can say if the account is an instance of an account, well, then here I go. I can say sum plus equals account, and I can say get money. Okay, well that's really cool now. So I can actually get how much money is in this account and all that cool stuff. But let's go around. So we have this function where I can say I have this much money. Let's add an account. Let's preferred account. Why not let's make a function that can be called from the bank to get a specific account based on the instance ID. So let's make a function over here in our account class that says my ID, return this ID. So I can now save and go up ahead and say public function get account from ID. So if you think about it, I want to go and look for an account that has that large, like, I don't know, 12-digit number that's used on your direct deposit, on your checks, and I want to reverse look it up. Well, this isn't exactly the most efficient way of doing it, but for programming's sake, and I'm not going to go through and make a binary search tree class or anything like that, I'm just going to say I'll just iterate through it. So I'm going to say if my account here is, or the ID equals the ID presented, not question mark, then what that means is that I do have that account. I can say return account, and in the case I can't find out, I have to return null. So sorry, not in the bank. So we now have this bank and we have accounts and all that stuff. So let's actually go ahead and put in some code. So I'm going to say my bank equals new bank, and I'm going to call the bank Toad. I don't know why. So I'm going to say, well, how much money do I have? Echo and save. So let's actually run this now. Starting the bank, Toad is 0. That's nice. Let's go ahead and make a new line and say I have this much money, and concatenate that. So you'll see now that if you zoomed in and see if this works, it says I have this much money right here, which is, it's okay, but we don't have any accounts yet, so it makes sense. So let's go ahead and create some accounts. So I'm going to say account 1 equals new account. Okay. 1. Let's say that I want to find out how much money this account has. Some new account has that much money. So let's go ahead and append a new line on that. And let's run it again down here. And if you look, it says some new account has 0. Well, that's fine. Let's go ahead and add some money to this account. So let's deposit $42.42, or let's just say 13 cents. And let's see what it says now. Well, if you look again, it says some new account has this. So if I go ahead and I repeat the process with I have this much money after I add this account to the bank. So I say bank, add account, ACC1, because that's just what I named it, and I call this cool stuff again. Then I can save, and I can run again that I have, whoops, come on, there we go. The bank now has $42.13. Okay, well that's nice, so we've just been able to replicate that. Let's go ahead and make a new account, add some more money, and add a couple more, okay? So let's say account 2 equals that. I'll say this one has only $13.442. So I'll just copy this line again, and I will change that there. So if I run again, well, now the bank says $55.55. I didn't think it would actually come up with that, but I guess since I just mirrored the values there, it would make sense. Anyway, so if I go through, that's cool and all, but I want to see where I want to see if account 2 is preferred customer. Okay, so I'll say, is account 2 a preferred customer? And I will say bank preferred AC2 and save. And it doesn't look like it returns anything, but in PHP, false is kind of, it's not synonymous, but it when you put it into text, it looks like 0. So or null. So I'll just convert it to an int and be done with it. Whoops. Let's go ahead and just run it. So it says 0 down the terminal. But let's go ahead and make a third account and add it to. And this new account will have $22.22, and now we'll name it account 3. So let's see here. I want to say this one is a special account. Okay, so by being a special account, I actually inherit the deposit function and several other functions too, but I can go ahead and just add it using add account 3. So I will just change this number here and save. So just for your own learning here, previously with account 2 it says 0 for preferred customer, which is false. I run again, account 3 is preferred customer. So as you can see, I only used just having this different name here, but I extend the original function, so it still has all the original usability and all the other stuff that you can use. But all I had to do was say, is it an instance of a special account? So let's see here, add account. Yeah, here it is, special account right there. So for now, I've just got a class and I've got a couple accounts in, but just to prove that my other function should work with getting an account by an ID, I will just say that my account number is going to be 3, but I know that this should return false because, well, there shouldn't be, whoops, not that, bank, get account from ID 3, because 3 doesn't exist, and I'll tell you why. Because this goes by at first starting at 0, so the first account number is 0, then it adds 1, and then the second time there's a new account, the ID is 1. So I should not be able to get anything from this. I might not get anything at all. I'm not sure what will happen, but let's see here. Well, it says 0. So, well, that's fine. Let's say 2. This should be true, since 2 should be the third item entered. And if you look, it says, yep, I am a preferred customer. So, well, that's cool. If I change it to 1, that should refer to the second account that I made, which is not a preferred customer. And I'll run it again, and it says 0. So what I've basically shown you is that you can have private functions and public functions, and using accessor method, which is like, deposit, withdraw, meaning like set or change or just get the current money, and then get ID. ID is not supposed to change. And the cool thing about the static ID is that this static goes through the entire thing. This static is associated with this class called account. It is not associated with any specific account in particular. So I can use that kind of thing for fancy iterating or setting up for new classes for identification use. So, well, that's a really basic bank. There's not much more to that. Again, this tutorial is made by Clopop321. I have a tutorial site set up. I'll just go and open up Chrome real quick. And I decided to try out Mac for a little bit, so that's why I'm using that right now. So I'll try clopop321.com, PHP tutorials. And I might as well open up my YouTube page. So I have several tutorials on. I'm sorry for not being totally consistent with uploading tutorials recently, as this last one was uploaded in November. But I do reply to people usually within a day and a half. So let's see here. That's not a good example. Here we go. So, for example, I have here's one of my tutorials. So this one person named Brittany posted on the 17th of February. I answered less than an hour later. So I do reply to comments, so make sure you do comment if you do have any questions. Secondly, I did recently hit 100 subscribers, which is all cool, but I will post tutorials coming up soon, and I hope to do it every weekend. And make sure to subscribe if you really do like my tutorials, and share them with other people. That's about all I have to say. This is Clopop321 signing off. Oh, and you can also make sure that you can always go to this site and download the sources and watch the videos along with a textual explanation, although usually not as in-depth as I say in voice. But I usually will provide graphics and the source code, and I will reply usually within less than 2 days. This is Clopop321 signing off.